Hi, it's Aaliyah from the Song of the Winds. I hope you're doing really well. Today's video is all about how to make an actionable plan after you have had a tarot reading. So we're going to talk through a couple of scenarios, identify what this person wants to work towards or achieve in their life. I'll explain what goal setting is and the acronym that you can use to achieve virtually any goal that you have, and how to actually set goals that are motivating and keep you want to continue to work towards that bigger goal, how to actually set yourself up for success. So let's dive in. Okay, so let's say you had a tarot reading and there was reoccurring themes about self-love. Now this could be me reading for you, this could be you reading for you, or another reader reading for you. It really doesn't matter. So let's say in this fictional reading you had the following cards. You had the King of Cups, the Five of Wands, the Eight of Swords, and the Six of Swords. So you could say with the King of Cups, that would mean that you have been completely ignoring your emotional wants and needs, and you've been listening to that really negative voice inside your head. And you're just feeling so at odds with yourself. You're feeling so trapped that you just can't see a way out. And you know that if you did even manage to escape from these feelings, you'd still be carrying them around like really nasty luggage. So that's some pretty big stuff, right? You know what the pattern is and you know that you need to change it, but you literally don't know how. It's not like you can just stop this pattern and say, I won't do that anymore. It's not that easy. So in that case, you need a plan. And here's where my friend, the SMART goal comes in. So SMART is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-bound. It helps you break really, really big stuff like a lifetime of patterning into something small that you can work towards each day. If you've had a lifetime of negative self-talk, you've experienced trauma and abuse, and you've fallen into certain patterns that just keep on pushing you towards making the same mistakes over and over again, you've got a pattern of avoiding confronting your issues, then you need to make a plan. SMART goals to the rescue! Now please note, I'm not saying that you can fix everything. Maybe part of your plan in this scenario is to actually get a referral to see a specialist. Maybe you need to consider getting some therapy done. You might want to have a Reiki treatment or a crystal healing. You might need to be under the care of a licensed physician. Maybe part of it is signing up for a weekly yoga class, or you could take a short course at your local college, or you could do an online course, or you could do some online study to help push you further towards your goals. Make a budget so that you could live your life comfortably and get out of debt. Any scenario that you're in right now will benefit in some way from having a SMART goal. So, specific. What specifically do you want to achieve and why? It can't be broad. Something like, I want to feel better about myself. It's probably not going to be gritty enough to actually get the results that you want to see. Maybe you'd be better off trying something truly specific like, I recognize that XYZ experiences have deeply affected me and I'm having trouble moving on. I recognize that this is bigger than me and I need some outside help to help me reach my goal of feeling truly comfortable and at ease with myself, to feel comfortable in my own mind and my own skin. So that's pretty specific. If you were to read back on that in a couple of days, in a month, in a year, you would know very clearly what it is that you want to achieve and why. Measurable. Here is where you make your high-level goals that you can track your progress on and keep yourself motivated. More goals will come from starting these goals, from writing these goals. You'll always have to break them down into smaller little bite-sized pieces, but this is a good starting point. So in this scenario where you've been experiencing trouble with finding a connection to yourself, you've got self-love issues, some of your actions might be taking a break from social media. You could set a deadline for, say, today. You might need to see a doctor so you can get a referral to see a therapist, and you might set a timeline for that must be done within 1 week. You could start to meditate, so you might set the goal of 15 minutes 4 times a week. And you could keep a gratitude journal about yourself where you have to write down 3 things about yourself or your day that you're just really happy about and want to record that gratitude. So, and to keep yourself motivated, you could also set little prizes when you tick certain things off your list. They don't have to be big, it just has to be fun and encouraging so that you're further incentivized to continue on your goal. Achievable. So here's where you sanity check your goals. If you've been having money trouble, for example, it's probably not achievable to become a millionaire and be debt-free by next Friday. That's probably just not going to happen. Make sure you're not setting yourself up for goals that you don't actually have the physical, the mental, or the financial ability to achieve, because you'd only be setting yourself up for disappointment. And also, only set goals that you can personally impact. Handing your power over to other people is not really going to help in this situation. This exercise is more about personal impact and work. Relevant. So aside from resources like time and money, are these goals actually working towards your larger goals? Are they relevant to your values and your ethics? Does it really matter to you? Like if you absolutely hate meditation, it's not going to be very relevant for you to set a goal to meditate 4 times a week, because you're probably not going to do it. And if you do it, you're going to be going in with the wrong attitude. You'll hate it. It won't be enjoyable. So what could you do instead? Timely. Do you have specific due dates about your goals? Is it too much time? Is it not enough time? What's actually achievable? Set yourself deadlines. And a good tip is set yourself goals that are a little bit hard, that is a slight challenge that you have to push yourself to achieve, but ultimately they are achievable. Reaching a goal encourages you to go further. It'll inspire you. So that's SMART goals. They're really, really helpful for bigger patterny type of issues where you have fallen into a pattern over a long period of time. And it's best if you're working in conjunction with other people in order to achieve those goals. So what I mean by that is like seeing a therapist, seeing a specialist, working with people that are actually there to help you achieve your goals and are there to look after your well-being as you're on this journey. Now, the other way that you can do this is a little bit simpler, but it doesn't really have a fun acronym. So it's who, what, when, why, how, assess, reward. So that's not really much of an acronym. But this one's a little bit easier. It's more like making a comprehensive statement to yourself. It's like creating a mission statement for you. It's a personal mission statement that will help guide future actions. And I found that it's best for like smallish problems that are manageable at the moment, but if you weren't to act on them now, it could get more challenging as time goes on and become a real pattern. So a good example for this scenario could be health and well-being popping up in your reading. And you realize that all of the problems you're having at the moment, like trouble sleeping, you're irritable, you're lacking energy, all tie back to a lifestyle of high stress or diet and just lack of movement. And rather than being an actual lifetime of habit, this is something that's crept up on you in the last, 1 to 2 years. And you recognize that you want to get it under control before it's really, really hard to fix. So let's say in this scenario, you have pulled strength, the 10 of Wands, and the 4 of Swords. So with strength, you've always been able to take responsibility for your health and your physical needs, but recently you've had this massive project that's been taking up all of your time and energy, and you've not been able to give the same level of attention to your diet and your exercise and your sleep that you have previously. And you know that you're about to reach burnout stage. You have to find another approach and just take some personal time to get back on track. Who? So the first step here is who is at the center of this? I mean, you obviously, but who else is adding to this? Maybe you've got a co-worker who always wants to go out for a really tasty but really kind of naughty lunch, and it's just fun hanging out with them, so you do it. Maybe you've got someone who's always calling meetings around lunchtime, so you put off eating in order to seem professional, and all that happens is you end up so ravenous that by the time you're out of that meeting, you just eat whatever, and you eat far more than you normally would. Maybe you get asked to go to events after work, and you find that you're just so tired when you get home, but you're really, really amped up, and you find it hard to go to sleep, and then it creates a knock-on effect the next day where you're tired and you're looking for an energy boost, and you choose something sweet or sugary so that you can actually have that energy to keep on going. Or you might just have far too much coffee and the problem just spirals. So the first step here is to really acknowledge your own choices and how this is creating this situation for you, but also identify any other triggers, and if that might be a situation or a person that's contributing to that, actually work out what's going on there. What is the specific problem here? In this particular scenario, it's that outside influences are making it hard, but not impossible to make better choices. It's hard, but not impossible to eat better and get more rest. When? Here's where you should really consider, when does this problem happen? This will help you later on with your planning. Why? Why exactly does this happen? Are you afraid of speaking up, or do you think there'll be some sort of confrontation if you assert your needs? This question usually digs a bit deeper than the surface problem. It's usually when you actually deeply consider this question that you realize there's other underlying factors, there's other triggers in there. You might find that this question actually leads to more questions and more self-development, but it's worth getting there. Sorry, we're really complicated multi-layer beings. How? What are some strategies you could use to help make this situation better? It's really important to take personal responsibility here as well. It's not going to solve your problem if you just blame others. And in this scenario, while other people are definitely contributing to this problem, there's things that you could be doing to help your situation. You could have some healthy snacks that you store in your desk or in the fridge at work. You could bring in your own lunch every day so you always had something. Maybe you could do meal prepping on the weekend, so there's no preparation time at night or in the morning when you might already be tired or running late or feeling irritable already. You've already got food ready to go. You could just outright ask for meeting times to be changed. Or you could just be sassy and bring your own lunch to them because we're humans and we need to eat. Say no to after work events as much as you can. And when you do have to go to them or you're trying to unwind after a really big day, do yourself a favor. Have some chamomile tea, listen to a guided meditation, just stay off devices. That light is not good if you're trying to actually get some healthy sleep, so go old school and read a physical book. Anything that can really help you sleep better. And don't check your emails. Don't do anything that would amp you up or make you feel stressed. Don't go scrolling through Instagram, that's not good. So once you've worked out the hows and set yourself a time limit, then it's time to get to the assess stage. How did you go after a week, a fortnight, a month? What sort of changes did you notice? And how are you actually measuring that? Are you measuring it on you're managing your food better, you find that you've got more energy, you're sleeping better? What is the way that you would judge success? Reward! This part is so important. We need little incentives. Maybe you've decided that if you stop going out to lunch 3 days a week, that at the end of the month you'll buy yourself a little insulated lunch bag or something cute like that. It doesn't have to cost a lot, it's just a little incentive. What in your situation would be a good incentive for you? And what else can you do to make it more likely for you to achieve your goals? Write it down. The stats on this are really interesting. So people with goals that they have actually written down, they're almost 50% more likely to achieve those goals than if they haven't written them down. And if you confide in a friend, it pushes it up to almost 80%. So what that says to me is there's different hacks for our brain where we can help make ourselves feel more accountable and more motivated. And this might sound like a lot of work, but once it becomes a habit, it just happens automatically. It's like you don't really think about how you're brushing your teeth, what your technique is. Once this becomes normal to you, it'll just be the way that you think about everything. And it's not really work if you're building your own self-belief and working towards your own personal development. It can only benefit you and everyone around you. With goal setting, of course you want to reach your goal. And if you have a goal, reach for the moon. And even if you fall short, you'll land in the stars. So I really hope you've enjoyed today's video and you've got a better idea of how you can set goals to help you achieve things that have come up within your tarot reading. And this method is useful for every aspect of your life. So try it in your personal life, try it at work and see what happens. And remember, goals are only wishy-washy if you don't break it down into manageable steps for yourself. And unfortunately, I can't think of a non-animal related quote for this, but I find this quote very helpful. Think about, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. I sounded creepily into that then, didn't I? I don't want to hurt an elephant. I don't even eat meat. Hence not wanting to use this quote, but it's a thing. But that is how you take something big that just seems so unmanageable. How on earth would you possibly achieve that task? You break it down into little small manageable bites and then it's much more achievable. So thank you so much for watching. I know this was a little bit different, but I hope you got something out of it. And until next time, you have a lovely day, week, month, whatever it ends up being, and I'll speak to you again real soon. Bye!